Welcome to Cisco Live.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Booth. My name is Brian Felt and I'll be your host. We are in the heart of Cisco Live right now, right at the entrance. So much happening around us, lots of news to cover. I'm super excited to be joined by a great panel of guests today. We have Marty Jain. Marty is Vice President of Sales Business Development for NVIDIA. And we have Neil Anderson. Neil is Vice President of Cloud Infrastructure and AI for Worldwide Technology. To the two of you, thanks so much for joining.
Thank you.
Well, let's get started. Certainly a lot of the headlines going over here at Cisco Live concentrated on AI, how to implement AI and how to scale AI. You know, one of the things that we hear from clients most often is just separating that hype from reality and how to just simply move forward. Marty, I'm curious, it's a little bit of an open-ended question, but how should organizations be thinking about separating that hype from reality as it relates to AI?
It's a great question, and it is an open-ended question. I think where we are now, Brian, we call it the Gen AI era. If you think about what has happened in the past few years, that was the analytical AI. What changed with ChatGPT was we launched into this Gen AI era. And so therefore there's a lot of hype about it. And the reason for that is AI can actually generate intelligence versus analyzing things. So that's what there's a lot of hype about. I don't know anybody who has not used ChatGPT, for example. So that's what started about, I would say, 16, 18 months ago. Consumers have used it. A lot of cloud service providers have implemented those capabilities. So what we're seeing now is enterprise start to adopt Gen AI, or it is time for them. And that's what the opportunity is here. So what you see around, what you hear around, particularly with what we're doing with Cisco and soon with WWT, is the ability to do generative AI on-prem for the enterprise. And so that's the big shift that has occurred. And there's a lot more behind that, but I think that's really where we're seeing the shift occurring from analytical AI to Gen AI, and then from cloud service providers, consumers, to enterprise.
Well, now in the enterprise, yeah, how are clients actually pushing that forward, knowing it's not as easy as the consumer going to ChatGPT?
Yeah, and I think it's, to build on Marty's point, like I think a lot of organizations were looking at AI for specific solutions in their companies. A little niche-y, you know, high performance compute or digital twins, but Gen AI kind of made it very approachable for everybody. Everybody could get an AI experience, regardless of who you were and what your role was in any company. And that obviously created so much energy and passion. But what we see our companies doing now is saying, all right, it's fun. We've had our fun. Now let's get to work. How does this actually apply to our company? How do we make ourselves more productive? What solutions can benefit our business and differentiate us in the market? And that's kind of where I see it now, is we're getting into the reality phase where it's, how do I really apply this to my business problems?
Well put, if I may.
Yes.
Very well put, Neil. So to now you've seen a lot of folks enjoy ChatGPT like Gen AI solutions for becoming productive at a personal level. My kids use ChatGPT, I shouldn't be saying this, but they do use it for code generation, for example. But the challenge with that is that's an open source, public space where enterprise is not going to want to do their productive work. And they need to do it most likely on-prem and also use their personal data or the corporate data for Gen AI. So for example, if I want to generate images for marketing for my use, WWT, you want to create an image of a professional carrying WWT gear, you're not going to do that on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What you're going to want to do is do that on-prem with all the data that you have, your private data, and then you generate off of that. And so that's the big shift that has to transpire, and so enterprise can start benefiting from the productivity gains of Gen AI.
It's so important, the point you're just making, Marty, like if it's only going to be valuable to companies that can actually use their data in those models to do interesting tasks like productivity. And so data privacy is a huge concern. How do I expose my data to a model, but in a secure place? And we do think that on-premise is going to be for most customers, that's going to be how they're going to deal with their most intellectual property data that's going to be in some of these models, just from a security and governance point of view. Not everybody's ready for that. Again, it's like, let's get to work. Part of that getting to work is, how am I going to secure this? Where is my data? Is it ready to be ingested into a model? All those things have to be discovered and worked through right now.
Well, certainly tons of great announcements happening here at Cisco Live. NVIDIA, much part of that. What's catching your ear, or what's maybe some of the news and headlines that you're excited about coming out of Cisco Live?
Yeah, well, the most exciting part here, Brian, was Cisco announcing HyperFabric. And we think of it as the AI factory. You know, you put power and data in, and out comes intelligence. That's what the AI factory is, and Cisco announced HyperFabric, which is effectively, in our opinion, the AI factory from Cisco. So it supports the entire stack of computing, storage, networking, and off of that, customers can build their own AI factories on-prem. And that's been a very exciting announcement.
Implications about, HyperFabric from the WWT side for our clients.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a really important building block for AI, because for two reasons. One is it's going to make it more approachable. It's going to be easier to get started. The second is, most of our customers are looking for Ethernet-based solutions. They already understand Ethernet, and HyperFabric is based on Ethernet. So it's going to just widen the lens of people that can get their hands around, an AI architecture. And so I think it's tremendously important, and happy to see Cisco and NVIDIA partnering on that.
Very well put. And if I may add, Brian, we see right off the bat, there are a few key use cases where every enterprise is going to lean in. They have to. It's going to become a competitive strength for them. And those things are simple things like chatbots. I mean, even the hotel I'm staying at, it has its own chatbot. So every marketing organization is going to want that chatbot. That's one. Second is AI Copilot. So if you look at the market today, Microsoft done a good job of introducing Copilots for PowerPoint, Word. You can summarize meetings with AI Copilots. Again, this is happening with enterprise data, summarizing meetings. And the third is code generation capability. So this is something we think IT organizations can help tremendously right off the bat. So this is a very powerful thing that they can do now with what Cisco has announced, and eventually what you guys can bring to market, which I mean WWT can.
You're exactly right, and those use cases are exactly what we saw internally to our own business, is our own GPT, how do we digitize knowledge in our ATC, proposal generation, right, and then code generation. We have a software development team, and they're actively using code generation out of these models to improve their own productivity and be able to deliver solutions faster to our customers. So we've already seen the benefits as a business ourselves that we now want to bring to clients. And those are three very common use cases that most companies have some form of that going on.
Well, certainly it's an exciting horizon. NVIDIA is such a major part of that, and WWT is proud to be NVIDIA's top AI and deep learning partner for the better part of the last decade. Certainly our relationship with Cisco spans over 30 years, super deep. But not everybody thinks of the WWT and Cisco and NVIDIA partnership together, so why is that starting to change now?
Yeah, it's a great question. It is indeed a three-way partnership going forward in this context for sure, Brian. So for example, what I see is Cisco builds this entire stack, and given your guys' experience in this area and some of the stuff you referred to, I can see where NVIDIA and Cisco build this entire stack, and you have the ability to bring it to customers and deploy it for real-world Gen AI use cases. In fact, I see WWT's ability to host this in your environment, ATC, I believe, in St. Louis. I think it'd be a great way to showcase what's possible with expertise that you guys have. So I think it's going to be a very nice collaboration, a three-way collaboration that we can go to market with.
Yeah, a little bit on the partnership, but then also what he's talking about lends itself to the AI proving ground. So a little bit about what that is and why we made it.
Yeah, the partnership's been fantastic, and some of it I think is just the culture of the three companies, right? We're all passionate about technology, we're all passionate about our people, and solving customer problems, right? And so that's just been a great partnership. We've had that with Cisco for years, we've had that with NVIDIA for years, but now bringing that together to really deliver the power of all that to our customers is just, we think it's really going to change things. And the second part of your question was?
The AI Proving Ground.
Oh, the AI Proving Ground, yes. How could I forget that? So, one of the things we notice with customers is there's a lot of choices out there. There's a lot of confusion. Everybody's got is doing AI, but who's doing it for real? And what is the best way to build a solution for real? And that's where our Proving Ground comes in. We have some of the top technologies from experts like NVIDIA, like Cisco and others. In the Proving Ground, customers can come in there, they can test what is the art of the possible. Can I do this? Could I build a model like this? What would I need on premises to build a model like that? And we can answer a lot of those questions. How do I size it? How do I get started? I want to develop a quick prototype maybe and show it to my business. We can do all those things in the Proving Ground. It's super important for customers.
Yeah, if I may add, this is not easy. And you were talking about the hype. It's great to hear about these cool things you can do, but to actually deploy, that's a non-trivial task. You need somebody to sit down with and discuss, what is the use case going to be? What is the data? What kind of model should I use? What kind of infrastructure do I need? Where can I put this infrastructure? How many GPUs? These are things that the customers really have to comprehend. Enterprise is getting ready for this. This is not something that they have done. So it's going to require a fair amount of expertise on the software side, on the hardware side, before you can actually deploy and get meaningful productivity out of these tools. I think it's important for having that AI expertise, and I believe you guys can bring that to the market.
Yeah, recognizing that they're craving, our clients are craving that type of simplicity to help move it forward. I'm wondering if there's like maybe one or two actions, maybe just beyond identifying those use cases that our clients should be thinking about implementing to just get started and build some momentum behind all this.
Yeah, I think defining the use cases is definitely an important step. What do I want to do with this as a business? And we can help with that as well. We can help you prioritize your use cases, and then moving on to, okay, what architecture do I need to actually bring this to reality? And that's the second thing. So to get started, I would say, make sure you do have an understanding of your use cases, prioritized. Everybody's got use cases, hundreds of them usually. We want to help you get down to, let's start to focus on one or two that you want to get started with and make those real for your business. And we did this internally as well. We have so many use cases everybody wants to do. We had to start with 3, right? And then the next step is, all right, let's bring this together, come into our Proving Ground where we can get hands-on with you, build your model, test it, see what it's going to do. Maybe we have to make adjustments to fit your need, and then you can be on your way and start to really show for your business, we are making progress on AI. It's not just hype, we're actually going to apply it now, and that's what I think is super important.
So I think there's, if I think about the 3-way collaboration, so what Cisco has done a beautiful job of putting the entire stack in a package, if you will. HyperFabric is, you have the right networking, you have the storage, you have the computing, you have the control plane, so everything is managed, easy to deploy. So that's the push button, if you will, for enterprise from a hardware perspective. We have created this NVI enterprise stack, and on top of that, we produce these things called NIMs, N-I-M, for NVIDIA Inference Microservices. And these are easy to use microservices for accelerating deployment of large language models or foundation models. Now, I think you can imagine training a foundation model, a bespoke model, is a much bigger task. Likely, enterprise is not going to do that. However, they want to be able to take advantage of this plethora of open source models to deploy them in their environments. And that's what NIMs do, allow you to easily deploy that. So I see you got the Cisco stack, you got the NIM capability, and then you got the AI expertise. That's the easy button for enterprise to start doing their AI work.
Yeah.
I hope that helps address your question, which you asked for.
That is great. Well, just to close out, so we're at Cisco Live. Any other conversations you're having or announcements that were made that maybe you want to follow up on after the fact? Things that piqued your interest and you want to pull on that thread a little bit more that'll have implications for the future, whether it relates to AI or any other part of the tech stack?
I think there's been some tremendous advancements in securing AI, as well as applying AI to securing, right? And I think we're going to hear so much more about that in the industry in the future. AI is not just powerful for humans to be more productive, it's also going to be more powerful to catch security threats, to be able to mitigate those in different ways much faster than a human can. And so that's one of the things I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, so there is a lot of information being dispersed about AI and has been for a while. What has happened here is slightly different. One is to say, I can do AI in my security, or I can do AI in my collaboration, or I can do AI in my networking. That's one way to sell products. The other is to say, Mr. Customer or Miss Customer, now I have the perfect infrastructure for you to do your AI work. And that's one important, if you will, difference between what has been done up until now and what we are about to go do forward. So I'd like to make sure we walk away from this with that message to the customer base, say now you have the ability to do the same kind of Gen AI work that others have been doing in your own environment.
It's a fantastic point, Marty. Yeah.
Certainly an exciting opportunity that exists in front of all three of us, WWT, Cisco, and NVIDIA. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you taking out time, which I'm sure is a very busy schedule
Thank
this
you,
week.
Brian.
Thank you for having us.
And to those viewing, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you watching. If you're looking for any more information as it relates to the relationship between WWT, Cisco, and NVIDIA, you can find all of that on WWT.com. Lots of material, content, and great stuff to learn about. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.